Hello and welcome to the Access Podcast. This is Pastor Jared. So excited that you're with us today. The Access Podcast exists to equip and mobilize young adults in identity, evangelism, community, and the scriptures. We're so excited you're here today. Let's go. And I got a special guest with me today, John Gudino. Come on, let's go. Say what's up, John.
What's up, guys?
Let's go. John Gudino is a leader in our Access community, and God has just done something so special in his heart and in his life over the course of this year. And man, we just want to hear a little bit about his testimony and to just hear what God has done over the course of this year in your life. So, dude, we met and really became friends, which is just so crazy, like within this past year, which is so wild, like the way that you've just grown and sought after Jesus this past year. Where you're at now is like, dude, so far from like where it used to be, which is just so amazing. So yeah, we're super excited. We believe that you're just going to be encouraged through this so much. So dude, let's get into it. Bro, like how did you really come to know Jesus? What were some things that were leading up to that moment of you finding Jesus? Yeah.
I think it was just like me like really truly wanting to find out more about Jesus and like about like the relationship I can have with him. Cause like I feel like when I was in high school, I just didn't do that and didn't search for him. And so I feel like now that I have been searching for him, he's shown up in my life so much, like every single day. And it's just like so crazy to like believe that you can have a relationship with the Lord, but you have to be the one to fully put your life down aside and to have that relationship with him.
Dude, that's so good.
Like your life changes completely from
Come
that.
on, bro. So where did you go to high school?
So I went to Catholic Central High School downtown.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So you grew up kind of like in knowing about God. You grew up kind of like, speak into that.
I grew up in Res Life Church, and so I went to Res Life all my life, and so I knew about church and like about God and stuff. But I think I was just so like wanted other things at the time that I didn't really focus on God, and so I was focusing on like sports and focusing on like trying to figure out who my friends were and stuff like that. And I think I just didn't see the bigger picture of I need to know God before all my friends and all the other stuff.
Right.
So like now that I have that concept of knowing him, it's just like everything else falls in line.
Wow, dude. So you're just kind of like, you were looking for a spot to belong, looking for a spot of identity.
Yeah.
Maybe misplacing that identity in some other things like sports. Dude,
definitely.
If you know John, you know he's a sports magician, bro. Baseball, soccer, whatever it is, basketball, bro. We play together on Tuesdays. He cooks me all the time. It's actually nuts. But so, dude, you're just like misplacing your identity a little bit, right? So, dude, when was like that shift or like, dude, I've heard it said before that, God at the end, when we come to the end of our rope, that's where God is. Like when we come to that lowest point is when the most times that we're the most open for God. Why? Because, dude, we're actually in a spot of humility, right? Yeah. And dude, James 4:6, it says, God opposes those who are proud, but he gives grace to those who are humble, right? Yeah. And it's by grace you've been saved through faith, not by yourself, lest anyone should boast, right? So at that spot, when we are like in need the most, that low spot, we are like the most humble and most open for God's grace. And that's a lot of times why people shift. So dude, when was that moment? When did it like click for you? Like, dude, the way that I'm living is like not the way that I need something else to change in my life.
It may sound like it actually like super recent. So it was actually, so I'm part of the discipleship program, and that has just changed like a lot of like the ways I like live life. And during our first retreat, Lord just like met me and just like, I almost felt like it was just like this overpouring of just his love, and like he just spoke like words to me, and like I haven't heard his word in like so long. And so just hearing that and just like being so full of like peace at the moment was just like, there's no going back. Like I want more of this peace. And like, it was just like, at that moment I was like, I'm like 100% for God. And like, let's go. Like, I'm so excited. And like, at that moment it was just like, this is what I need. Like, this is what feels like peace. And like, if I want to feel this, like I got to do this. And so it's just like, at that moment it's just 100% just running towards him.
Yeah.
But yeah. And that was in August. So yeah. It
was in August of this last year.
Yeah.
Where like God really broke in. You probably had like the most powerful experience with God that maybe you've ever had in your life.
It was definitely like, wow. I almost like was crying for like 2-3 hours straight.
Whoa.
It was just like, I've never done that before. And like, it was just like, it was almost like playing flashbacks in my life, and just like, it was just all this, so like, it felt so real. So I was just like, wow, like this is,
Dang.
and like in the moment it was still feeling like love. So it didn't feel like I was like, he was just showing me my past and like showing like how bad I was and stuff like that. But like it was like love, and like it wasn't just like showing me who I was, but it was like almost like showing me who I'm becoming. And like it was just like, wow.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Dang, dude.
sure.
That is so cool. Bro, what is like one of the things that you feel like God has like redeemed most in your life? Maybe like one area of your life where maybe a time when you thought, dude, I'm like way too far gone. There's no way that God would ever save me. And then how has God like kind of changed that for you?
I would say when I was like deep into like my depression, I really thought like my life was just like over, and I was just like, this is how I'm going to be for the rest of my life. Like I'm going to have to take pills. I'm going to have to try to cope myself to be normal. And like I feel like after I got off of those like pills, I almost felt closer to God, because like I could actually like function. And like I almost feel like after that I started praying to him about my depression, and like he freed me from my depression. And
Wow,
like
bro.
I didn't have to take my pills anymore. I
No
didn't have
way.
to take any of my stuff. And like I just remember like I remember because the doctors would tell me like if you stop taking your pills for like a week or so, like it'll just like backtrack and everything will go wrong. And so like I was so worried about like that. And so like after a week,
Yeah.
I didn't feel anything, and like it was just like whoa. And like I was like, wow, like he just freed me from something that I've been thinking like my life was gonna be completely over. And it was just
Dang.
like, so he freed me from that. And like I was still living in like sin and still living like not right with him at the moment. And so it was just like for him to even like to be able to free me from that, and like I wasn't even like living for him 100%. It was just like
Whoa.
wow.
Yeah.
So it was just like, yeah. And so he's just like it been in my life so much, and like
Yeah.
it's just crazy.
Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Dude, so in high school, you're kind of misplacing your identity, kind of going from there, right? And now, so we heard about like kind of that high school experience. We heard about, okay, this powerful experience that you had in the discipleship program this past August. How did you get from high school to there? Did you get what I'm asking?
Yeah. I would say from there, it was really just seeking him and just being in the church and wanting to seek more of him. Because I feel like when I was like before high school, I wasn't searching for him, and I wasn't going to church. I wasn't reading my Bible. I wasn't doing stuff like that.
For sure.
And so I feel like doing those little things made like a small relationship with him, and like planted a seed in me. And so that seed, I felt like just grew and grew and just has gotten bigger and bigger. And now that seed is like a tree. And so it's just like branches just going off everywhere. And like he's just worked in my life ways and wonders I've never thought of. And it's just like, wow.
Yes.
But yeah, I think it was just planting that little seed in my life by just going to church every day and starting to read my Bible and starting to do little things that I didn't do regularly. And so it's just like that, doing that for sure.
Wow. Come on, bro. That's so good. The little things go a long way with the kingdom of God for sure, dude.
Yeah.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
Bro, and one thing you said too that really like stuck out to me is that, dude, you weren't even like following God when he like intervened with regards to your depression and like actually freed you from that. And you started walking in a level of peace and a level of joy maybe that you hadn't before. And dude, that reminds me so much of that verse in Romans, I think it's Romans 5. Yeah, Romans 5, verse 8, and it says, "But God demonstrates his own love for us in this, that while we were still sinners, Christ died for us."
Yeah.
Bro.
Wow. Wow.
That's crazy. Isn't that so good? Like, dude, before we even took one step towards Christ, he was leveraging all of heaven on our behalf. Like, whoa.
Yeah.
Dude, he's so good.
So good.
He's so good.
So good.
Dude, so God has been working in your life since you've been in the discipleship program. You've seen him do amazing things in and through yourself. Like, dude, I'm even thinking you've experienced some like healing, like even in your like physical body.
Yeah.
Like, can you testify a little bit to that? Of, like even that time we were playing basketball.
Yeah, I was about to say, it was probably like in the summertime we were playing basketball with Jared and a bunch of guys outside. And like we always play on Tuesdays, and so like normally nobody ever gets hurt, but I went up for like a layup and came down, and like my ankle was like, it felt like an 8 out of 10 at the moment. And I was like, there's no way I'm going to be able to keep playing.
Like an 8 out of 10 pain level.
Yeah, like pain level.
Dang.
So I was like, and like I had a lot of ankle injuries. So I was like, oh, this is terrible. Like, I'm not going to play basketball. And like immediately, like Jared prayed for me, but it was like he prayed for me, but then he also prayed for me again. And so he prayed for me for 3 times. And the first time he prayed for me, I didn't really feel anything. And I was like, all right, I'm still like an 8 out of 10. And the second time he prayed for me, I was like, all right, I've truly got to believe like I'm going to be healed. Like this is 100%. I'm going to be healed after this. Prayed for me. It would drop down to like a 5. And then I played another game and then prayed for me again. And then after that third time he prayed for me, it like completely went from like a 8 to like a 0. And like I was back to jumping. I was playing defense. And it was just like from like a 5-minute span of from 8 pain to like a 0. And like it was just like, wow, what the Lord can do when you have faith. Because like I remember like having faith in that moment, like I'm gonna be healed this time.
Wow.
And, like I was, and like it was just like wow.
Yeah, dude.
So like he does like he just works through like my life and through other people too. Because like I've seen that too, like through like my mentor and like through Pastor Nick and stuff. And so like it's just like wow.
Yeah, dude. That is just so amazing, bro. God's healing power is on display, and we believe that God is a God who heals today, bro. And you experienced that, bro. I remember you hopping up and like testing out your ankle, walking back and forth, and you were like, I was like, bro, don't play with me. You're feeling good right now. He's like, dude, no way.
Yes. I was like, I'm good.
And then he cooked me the next game. Yeah, he did. He beat me. Yeah, okay. But dude, that was so good though. That's so amazing. And then, dude, God's been speaking to you specifically about like a specific verse in the Bible pretty recently.
Yes.
You want to share a little bit about that too? Yeah.
So Romans 8, verse 15 through 17. And so this verse is a verse actually access. We do this before worship and then after service. And so like the first time we did it, I was like, all right, this verse, like it stuck out to me as soon as we read it. And so I was like, let me like dive deeper into this verse. And so I did. And so like one day I just sat down and like just read it and like slowly like through the verses. And verse 15 is something that really just stuck out to me. Because it starts out by saying, for you did not receive a spirit of slavery. And so when I first like thought of slavery, I always thought like being like locked up and like not being able to be yourself. And so like then like that like sin like came into my mind, and I was like, that's almost like sin, because like it's like chains and like we're locked up.
Wow.
And so like it's like we're free from sin. And then you keep reading it, and then it goes on to say that we don't fall back to fear, and so we don't fall back into sin. And so we don't fall back into that. But then we have received a spirit of adoption. And so like that word adoption is just so strong to me, because like I was adopted like in like the real life and like from Haiti. And so like knowing that I'm adopted into the Lord's kingdom also is just like, whoa. And so it's just like to be seated at his table was so amazing. And then you keep reading, and like this verse just like it just keeps going. And then it says that you have what he has, like, and he like passes it on to you. And so it's just like to know that I have what Jesus has and it's passed on to me is just like so like it's just like wow. And so like to live, and it's just like to live like Jesus is like, it's like wow, like you're called, like now I'm just like called to do that. And so it's just like now I live my life like 100% trying to like live like Jesus, and then also knowing that not to fall back into fear, knowing that to stay at the table, to be able to be like Jesus. And so it's just like,
dude, that's so good.
So powerful. And it's worked like so much into my life. And
bro, even just like that analogy and that adoption, like analogy of adoption is so good. Like, yeah, you have not received a spirit that makes you a slave again to fear, but you've received a spirit of sonship or adoption by which we cry, Abba, Father. Dude, that's so good. And like, dude, like in adoption and physical adoption, it's like, dude, you're taken out of a less than ideal circumstance and brought into a life that you could not have earned by yourself.
Exactly.
And bro, like the only reason that you were brought into the family that you were is because that family like chose you.
Yeah.
And in the same way, like the only reason that we are connected to the kingdom of God is because God chose us.
Yes.
Like we were in our sin. We were in the environment, the country of sin. Yeah. And it was destroying our entire life. We were lost. We were broken. There was no hope for us. And at that moment, God looked at all the bunch and he said, I choose you, and I'm going to adopt you as my son. Bro.
So crazy.
That's amazing. I hope I never get over that. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
Like, I just want that to hit me every single time that Jesus has adopted me in the son. And then, dude, what you're saying is like, dude, he didn't just make us a son,
Yeah.
but if we're sons, then we're also heirs, heirs of God and co-heirs with Christ.
Yes.
Dude, that means that we actually inherit everything that Jesus would inherit from God. Like everything that the Father has is now been given unto me. Dude,
Wow.
whoa.
Yeah.
Like the power, the authority, the presence, the peace.
Everything, yeah.
Like, and dude, that's even in Matthew 6 when it prays the Lord's Prayer. That's what I just hear coming through this is that Jesus prayed that his kingdom would come on earth as it is in heaven.
Yeah.
Dude, that is just, that's so cool, bro.
Yes.
Dude, so as you've been following Jesus, as you've been kind of resting in his word, his way for your life, dude, how have your friendships, how have different relationships in your life kind of changed?
I would say my friendships have just 100% changed. And I also think it's partly just seeking the Father, and then him just like placing friends into my life that I need at the time and at the moment. And so instead of seeking friends, like friends are just like in my life. And so then those friends turn into deeper friendships, and then you connect with them, and then you build a real relationship with like a friend, and it just like feels so peaceful and so wholesome to like be able to call someone your friend, and then like just know you like 100% have their back and they have yours, and it's like so deep. And then you also have like the spiritual side of it too, so you can like sometimes you have friendships that are deeper, you can go to them and like talk to them about like spiritual stuff, and like when you're able to do that with a friend, it's just like that is like that's so good, because then it just builds you guys so much deeper.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely being able to talk to like a friend about spiritual stuff, and just that is just so good.
Wow. Dude, that's so cool, bro. That is so good. So would you say some of your friends that you used to hang out with all the time, do you hang out with them the same amount? Or
I would say I like all my friends that I used to hang out with, I do not hang out with them like at all. And then they actually don't even like hang out with me, so they don't ever like text me to like hang out. So it's almost like we weren't friends.
Wow.
Like, I feel like friends would talk to you and be like, "Hey, how you doing? Like, what are you up to?" And like I have never heard anything from those friends. And like I thought like at first that would hurt me and be like, "Okay, I thought we were friends. Like, what the heck?" But I truly have friends, so it's like I don't even like it doesn't even like faze me to like know that they don't text me anymore, because like I have friends, and so I don't have like that second guess of needing friends. I have friends.
Right.
So, yeah.
Dude, that is amazing, bro.
Yeah.
That is just so good. When you choose the way of Jesus, what I'm hearing, bro, is just like, dude, he's got people lined up for you on the other side of that yes that you give to him.
Yeah. And so
Bro,
you don't have to search.
Yes, that's good. Dude, let me ask you an interesting question. Is there anything like about the Christian life that is like different than what you expected before you came to know Christ? Like when you thought about Jesus and like the Christian life before you were saved, what did you think it was? And then like, how is it different now that you're actually living it?
I would say I truly think like when I first got here, I thought prayer was just like almost like not a cult, but it was almost like a secret thing that people did to like talk to each other. And I'm like, wait, why are they praying? Like, who are they praying to? And so I think like now that I know like prayer is like so much deeper than just like than what I thought it was. And so definitely prayer is something that I thought that was just like so secretive, but it really is secretive, but it's to you and the Lord. And so when I found that out, that it was the Lord's, like you're praying to the Lord, it definitely like changed my mindset of like that's why everybody's praying, because they're having a relationship with the Lord. And so,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Oh, that's so good, bro. And I've heard it said too, even just like on the topic of prayer, like I've heard it said that like the way that you build a relationship with somebody is by talking with them.
Yeah.
And like, dude, if I never talked to you, if I never talked to like the people in my life, there is no way I would ever have any relationship with them.
Yeah.
And in the same way, like I'm meant to communicate, which is I talk to God, but then also God talks to me.
Yeah.
Bro.
Yes.
And when you get that, when you like get that God actually wants to speak to me about my life, and when you get in a daily rhythm of talking with and hearing from God, your relationship just blows up. Yeah. But dude, I could totally understand that. Like people looking from the outside in, and they're like, all these people are on their knees and they're all like saying things under their breath. They're like, this is weird. But, yes, but there's something so much deeper behind it. Yeah. Dude, that's so good. Yeah. That's so good. Bro, if I could just ask you, what do you feel like God is up to currently in your life? And where do you feel like he's leading you, even direction wise? Like, what are some passions that are inside your heart that you feel like God's like activating right now and kind of moving forward in, job wise, or like in relationships or anything like that?
I think one thing that he's definitely like stirring in my heart is like kids. And I just feel like for some reason I'm called to like not nurture kids, but look out for kids who might have been in the same situation that I was. And so I almost like see myself as like when I grow up into like, because I'm a chef, and so I always picture myself being like a big TV chef and like that. But now that I've like been in like relationship with the Lord, I almost feel like he's pushing me to teach kids, not to cook, but teach kids to like be able to be in like the world, but still have the Lord and still be able to function 100% for the Lord, but also being in the world. And so I just feel like I'm called to teach kids that. And
That's sweet, dude.
and that's totally switched, because like growing up, I 100 thought like I was gonna be like this superstar athlete and like go to the league and do all this, and like my like eyes have just switched and like 100% been on this, and like
Wow.
just
God's like changing your heart.
yeah, definitely changed.
That's
my
cool.
heart for sure.
That's good, dude.
Yeah.
That is so good. Bro, dude, thanks so much for being here today, bro. And like being on this, dude, fire. Just like, and dude, just so believe in what God is doing through your heart, in your heart, and through your life. Bro, thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord, for saving you and bringing you into this Access community. And so, come on, so thank you so much for joining us today on the Access Podcast. We're so honored to have you with us here today. Make sure to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. And if this message blessed you, consider sending it to somebody who's in need. If somebody like that's kind of has a similar story to John, or if you've been impacted by this, let us know. So good deal. All right, we'll catch you next time on the Access Podcast.
See you guys.